Hello there, welcome to Celtic Park in Derry. It's sunny and it's breezy. 18,500 people expected for this Ulster Senior Football quarter-final clash between Derry and Donegal. The meeting of Mickey Hart and a certain Jim McGinness as well. I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box here, the studio, Peter Canavan and Kieran Whelan. Gents, you're both very welcome. Peter, to you first of all, for the last 5 years Derry are building and building and building. Are they close to being built?
Absolutely. You only have to look at their performances this year, Damien, and the way they've manoeuvred the National League, chopping and changing players. This time last year, the feeling was that Derry were 2 or 3 players short from having a really formidable outfit that could challenge for an All-Ireland title. I think Mickey Hart has now found those 2 or 3 players. Lachlan Murray has come in, Cormac Murphy has come in, Declan Cassidy, Dermot Baker in the cornerback. So they now have a really strong panel. They now have players who can come off the bench and make an impact. So absolutely, and they've got an air of confidence about themselves now. Their manner of their defeat of Dublin in the final will give them serious confidence. So absolutely, they're not far away. And if you look at their age profile, there's no reason why they can't kick on and actually improve another bit.
The other side of the fence then, is it a little bit too early for the Jim McGinness project in Donegal, Kieran, or is it just a game that they'd exactly want?
I'd say it's certainly a game they want. They'll really test their character and test the level where they're at, Damien, but you would suspect that it's come a little bit. He's had 5 months to work with them. Derry are well down the line in terms of their project. Now, as Peter said, there can be that hangover from the Division 1 league victory, and Donegal, it's set up kind of maybe for a perfect ambush. But I just think in terms of quality, Derry are just a couple of levels ahead of where Donegal are. And, I get a sense that, we've been waiting for Jimmy McGinness and the plan, is he going to change it up? Will it be like 2011? Will it be like 2012?
Will we see that today?
I don't think so, because in my view, I think he's had 5 months. He's had a lot of games. He's had a lot of injuries. I personally think he likes to have the players in training camp. He likes to develop these styles or patterns of play or what he wants to do. I don't think he's had a chance to do that, but I definitely think we will see a Donegal on the front foot, a Donegal that will definitely be intense in the tackle. They'll hunt down, they'll work hard, they'll, compared to where they were last year, and they'll look to rattle Derry, they'll look to put Derry under pressure and knock them out of their rhythm. But are they ready to take them down at this point? I'm not so sure.
As the years went on with Tyrone and maybe the lethal forwards maybe went into retirement, one thing I noticed about Mickey Hart's team was a spread of scorers all over the team. Do you see a similar pattern starting to emerge from Derry, whereby, the defence scoring regularly, contributing goals at times also?
Look, that pattern was there before Mickey came in, and Conor McCluskey in particular. Dermot Baker can do that. Christy McCaig, even though he's noted as a man marker, can come up and kick points from distance. Conor Doherty, Owen McAvoy's performance in the National League, charging through the middle, scoring goals. So, and that's what's really fascinating about this game, because a few years back when McGuinness came in with Donegal, he was adept at forming a team who could negate key forwards. Now he's coming in a different era, and he's having. I'm looking to see how is he going to set up to negate key defenders, because Derry's backline possesses as much threat going forward as their forward line, and that's where there's been a major shift from a previous era. So that'll be interesting.
We were talking beforehand that Derry, similar to Dublin, they can play it whatever way you want now. They're very, very. They have the defensive piece that's in their DNA from the last couple of years. They can get back and they can get reset fairly quickly. They can also push on. They push on with Owen Lynch. They'll have that extra man in attack. They've started to kick the ball a lot more this year. When they do get that opportunity, they'll kick it inside. They can kind of deal with whatever is put in front of them, and that's the interesting dynamic. How are Donegal going to go about this? Will they try keep it tight? Because we spoke about that high press against Cork at the start of the league. Are they ready to do that? Can you do that for the full game? It's highly unlikely. So they'll probably try keep it tight and hang in there and rattle them a bit, really.
Yeah, and in terms of rattling, I'm not convinced that they have the physicality or the power.
Yeah.
Again, a previous Donegal team with the McGees and Hugh Gallagher and Michael Murphy, absolutely, they could mix it. Whereas you're mixing it with Conor Glass and Brendan Rodgers, McCaig and these boys, and it'll be difficult to see them doing that. But he's going to have to mix it. You'd imagine that at times they're going to sit back and defend in numbers, and at other times they will get up and be aggressive in the forward press, which they have managed at various stages in the National League. But there's no doubt about it. It's a massive ask for Jim McGinness in such a short space of time to come up here with this Donegal side to take on and to defeat Derry.
What will be the mindset for Jim then, Kieran? You know, it is early in the project, but he'll want to make a statement, and there's no doubt about it. He does like to build a team, and there has to be that space this year. So what is the mindset today?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, because I know Peter said he'll go full tilt. Do you think he'll go full tilt for an Ulster Championship? So he's definitely coming up to win the game. He has spoken about his passion for the Ulster Championship and how important it is, but he's also spoken about the games coming thick and fast, and the Ulster Championship being demeaned a small bit. I think they'll come. I think if they sit very deep, I think it would kind of Derry will pick them off. I think they'll defend probably from the halfway line. They'll definitely get in their faces. They'll try and push right up, and when they get a chance to get a second man or a third man in, we'll definitely see periods of aggression. But for me, I think they want to be in the game at half time, be there within a point or two, and they might change their strategy in the second half.
I would say it's the one thing that they have in their favour coming in today is that Donegal aren't looking any further than Derry, or aren't looking any further. To win an Ulster Championship would be massive for them, whereas what's Derry thinking about now? There's a lot of talk around Derry and their supporters off in All Ireland. So,
but Mickey Hart's not going to lie down.
No, absolutely not. And that was been mentioned during the week. Will Derry be better? Even though I think if they did lose today, it wouldn't affect their chances moving forward. There's absolutely no doubt that Mickey Hart will have them fired up for this, because again, go back to Donegal a few years ago. They made, McGinness said it, he said Throne were the standard bearers. They measured themselves on taking on and defeating Throne. Now it's Derry, and it's Mickey Hart again that he's got his sights firmly set on, and Mickey will know that. So Donegal used Throne as a springboard a few years back. He now wants to do that with Derry, and I think Mickey's going to be ready for that, and he'll have them fired up.
That's exactly what we want. You want both teams going full tilt on a time. You want Donegal coming out to try and make a statement to say this is the direction we're going in.
That's right.
And Mickey Hart's not going to back down. So hopefully we're going to get a cracking championship match. Maybe for first 15-20 minutes it might take a while to get going, but I think it should be helter-skelter out there.
Just as a matter of interest, guys, like Donegal in Division 1 last year finished about minus 41, they're plus 45 in Division 2 this year, so their scoring difference has been turned around completely. Do you expect Donegal to sit today, or will we see maybe more of what we saw of them earlier in the league, where they were a lot more adventurous actually?
I think we'll get a mix of both, Damien. I think I don't think they'll sit deep. I think they'll try and put pressure on Derry out the field. I think if you sit inside the 50 really deep, I think you're inviting Derry. Are probably one of the best teams at breaking down defences in terms of their angle run-ins and how they overload one side of the pitch to the other. So I think they'll definitely try and rattle them and get stuck into them. They'll get bodies behind the ball, but maybe there will be a period in the game where they'll go after them and they'll have to push out, and that could come in the second half.
Predictions, so guys. Peter, first to you.
Look, forget about the sideline and what's going on there. If you go through the players and both sets of players, if this Derry team play as well as they can, I think they could win, and they could win with something to spare. I do expect Donegal to really put up a strong performance, but I don't think they have the running power, and I don't think they have the physicality. They have some brilliant players, absolutely, but all round Derry are the better individual team, and they're years ahead in terms of their development. So I can't see anything else than a Derry victory.
Yeah, I would agree, Damien. I just think there's a level of consistency about Derry. I think they've been very, very consistent the last 2-3 years, and even coming out of those league finals, and you talk about an ambush, I don't think Mickey Hart is the type that lets that happen. He'll have them tuned in today, and I just think they'll have just too much quality for them.
Okay, a double vote for Derry. So Kieran, Peter, thanks very much. The boys will be back along with myself at 6:15 on RTE television. Hopefully you can catch us then. It should be a cracking game. 18,500 people. It's going to be a busy game. Massive crowd. Join us then.